welcome to PM Adda. Here we are another session with where we are going to learn about product management, how to make it simplified. So today we are going to cover product design. So product design is a very critical aspect of any product interview. Like every company, either you name any of the company, they will surely ask you a product design question. A product design question is not majorly for designing the exact product during the interview, because you cannot design a whole product in the your 20 or 30 minutes of your interview. Its major approach is to think like how you are thinking, whether you are putting down yourself into the customer shoes, whether you are understanding your customer thoroughly, and whether how much attempt you are making to the solution. There can be cases where you are not knowing any of the solution, you don't know how to approach next, you are completely blocked. But how to approach in that situation, how you are thinking in that situation, are you going through the right steps, is what is needed in a product design interview. So for a product design interview, majorly the interviewers check for you is whether you have developed structure thinking for ambiguous situation, analyzing customer needs, pain point, and aligning solution with product goals. So a very critical component for a product manager is that they are following a systematic and a structured approach. That means they are not rushing toward the solution, but going through each and every funnel of product thinking before they go into and evaluate what is the exact solution that need to be made. Then, are you able to identify and evaluate the customer journey, pain point, and frustration effectively? Like, there is a very important saying in the product, like if you are not able to understand your customer, you are never going to solve their pain point. So put down yourself into the customer pain points, put down them into your customer use, and see how I'm going to use this product, how basically why I need this product, and how I will get frustrated is what you think of a critical component. So majority of the interview will be going and revolving around these first 2 points, and also how you are and first understanding the problem. Because a very critical key important skill for a product manager is that whether they can understand the problem clearly or not, whether they have listened to the person sitting in front of them very clear or not. Because if you cannot hear someone, you are surely going to overthink and you're not going to utilize and get to the final solution. Then, once you have been done with the first 2 points and also getting the right problem, then comes your creativity part, where you need to develop and use a usable and an innovative product, thinking beyond conventional solution. Like let's say you get a design problem for, let's say, designing a vending machine. But if you are telling the interviewer the same vending machine which you have seen nearby your, let's say, in airports, or let's say your colony area, then you are not designing anything. You are only analyzing the problem, but you are not creative. You always go with the traditional approach, and that is where the product person is not going to see. The product that you are designing is can be a MVP, which is like have been prerequisite from the few, like the already existing product competitors, but that is not needed in the interview. You can think of that as a very standard approach in a roadmap thing, which you are going to cover in the next upcoming sessions. But you need to be very thorough what you are designing and how much innovative you are. And also, like a PM is nothing if you are not worth of the implementation and execution of the product. So how much implementation efforts and how much cost you are reducing, so that you can understand the proper business. Like if you are running any business and if you are not able to manage the cost and you build a very good product, it will never be used of a customer because they cannot afford it. So understanding the customer requirements, understanding how much the customer can pay, how much you have the budget, and effectively manage all the implementation effort, how to do the marketing, deployment, testing, everything when executed under a problem when discussed with an interviewer is a product design interview. So in this, the question goes at candidates' critical, creative, and strategical thinking skills for designing product. Focus on understanding customer needs, solving pain point, and innovation, and estimated project effort, cost, and evaluation. Like there can be instances in your life when you have multiple projects aligned and along with your product, like your manager. But whether you are able to prioritize them, whether you are able to recognize which is the best for the business, is a key critical skill for a product innovator. So this product design interview is generally of 20 to 25 minutes, but he accesses everything regarding a candidate. It accesses you about all the details that an interviewer is actually looking out for you. So this rounds become very highly critical. So once you are going to the problem, how to solve this problem is a very critical thing. So you need to approach this problem not by any standard approach. So whenever you apply some frameworks, which is like being taught in an MBA school, everyone knows those principles. Everyone have those written in some books and everywhere. But when there is any problem, you should in your life as well, you should go for first ask the clarify question to narrow down the problem. Like if you're not engaged with the interviewer and you don't know what the interviewer is actually expecting out for you, and you are just rushing toward the solution, you will never be able to develop the product solution, and you will never be going to be able to get selected. Second, after having the problem statement narrowed down and you know whole problem, define your goals clearly. Let the interviewer know that I am thinking that this is the problem, this is what we are actually looking out for. Am I right during this process? This will lead to two advantages. First, the interviewer will feel that he is engaging with you and he would be feeling participated and will not get bored of the interview. And second is, if you are narrowing down to the solutions later and if alignment is not matching in the initial case, then you are going to lose every of your points because you're not aligned with the interviewer and you might be coming with a solution which the interviewer might not be looking out for. Third, identify the user segments and choose one to focus on. Like you can never fulfill every user segment through your single product approach. You need to develop different solutions, you need to jump on different shoes. If you go into multiple shoes, you will never be able to put yourself into one. So think of a user segment which is going to be causing the major business, who is going to have a high impact, and based on that prioritize a user segment and focus upon the same. List and prioritize pain point for the chosen user segment. So basically, whenever you go into a user segment, how you are going to prioritize. Think of their pain points, how much critical impact you would make, how much exactly is a pain point for that user, how much pain is that there in the problem. Think of that and then prioritize a user segment. And now, once you have the pain point, you know how to build. You can think of the solutions. Everybody is smart. Everybody can think of. Let's say if I say that you need to design a vending machine where you need to accept QR payments. Making payment from QR code is a problem. You can connect with Bharat Pay. You can connect with PayU. You can use the various vending like API partners for the evaluation of the payment and get the API integrated and propose a solution. So developing a solution is not a problem. Understanding the first key critical 4 point is the majority thing. While proposing the solution, always think that you are thinking creatively and think that you are not pushed under the limits. Also, whenever you are making a solution, if you are making any assumptions, please do discuss this with the interviewer so that he and you are on the same point. There can be cases whenever you are designing a product but the company is not having the right budget. There can be a case where interviewer wants to evaluate you on a particular aspect but he get while you are discussing the solution to a different aspect. So don't let the interviewer be deviated from what he want to get out of you. Just think of and discuss everything with the interviewer so that you are always under the alignment. Then propose multiple solutions. Don't limit yourself to a one solution and prioritize based on effectivity, like how much effective the solution is going to be. And then comes the roadmap base, like how you were going to define the minimum viable product and how you are going to track the overall performance. Any product, whether you design any product, if you cannot relate the outcome of that product either through the cost methods or through the user method or how effectively you are solving the user problem, then that problem is never a good solution. Think of how you are going to evaluate the metrics and how you are going to show it to the leader. And then in the end, because you have discussed 25 minutes of worth of huge amount of content, you have discussed about a majority of the problem statement for the user. Summarize your approach and solution to the interviewer so that he can have a very brief summary of what went well in the 25 minutes, and this would be surely acting as your one of the brownie points for capturing any of your product interviews. So how to get into each of those cases, let's go in detail. So first is clarify scope by asking about user, goal, task and platform. So what you need to do in this, first go into the user bucket and understand who the user are. Let's say if you need to design a banking based app, try to think of how much customers generally do come to your bank. How many of them are going to have businesses? How many of them are personal person who do not have jobs? How many of them are going to be underage? Think of every user and try to analyze that whether you are going to be the user, how you want the product to be, what do you want to achieve, how do they do it right now, and which platforms are relevant, like what are the current tools that they currently use, how they are solving the problem, how we are looking to solve the problem. Second step, define the goal, like reducing time at DMV per visit. Define the goal very clearly, like how you can reduce the time whenever the user is making the daily or monthly visit to your let's say website. Clearly state the objective of the product design, such as improving and efficiency or enhancing user experience. This is a very key, critical, important aspect of any product interview. You need to be like your interview would say, improve, let's say, the product. You need to create a new product. But if you are not aligning with the business goal, how the company wants to go in that particular area, that solution is not going to be of any worth, because my thinking would be that I want to expand in the terms of the user engagement, but you might be solving the customer experience on that side. So be very clear with your interviewer. Try to discuss the problem as much as you can. Try to be very discussive as you can. So this will surely be adding some of the major brownie points to your interview. Third point, list user segment. Choose one. Explain why. Let's say you are designing something and you get across four user personas or user segments. And let's say you are having a market share of each of them, let's say 10% each, and one of them holds 80% of the market. And they do sure have some pain points which are ready to solve. If you are not able to prioritize that 80%, you are not going to run into a very good business. You lose the very potential market. So think of all the user segments and choose one. Like why you need to go into that. Identify different user group related to problem as you can. Select the primary group for your design and provide reasons like why I have choose this. Either it is the business, either it is the impact, either it is the engagement, either it is the experience, either they are going to use the product or not, and then prioritize. And then start whenever you pick a persona, fit yourself into the customer shoe. Think, if I would have been that case, how would I want this product to be? How I want this product to behave like for me, and then start to write the pain points for those. These pain points are not going to just land into you to the solution. These pain points are going to lead you to a very particular and very finite solution, which you can think from the user perspective. And then once you have ranked all the solutions, once you have ranked the priorities of those pain points, start working out on the solutions. Here, in this case, don't assume anything, like go for the assumptions, but be very discussive with your hiring manager or let's say the interviewer, and be very decisive. Be creative as much as you can. Think of all the product aspect and think that you will not get the chance again, because every time this opportunity is going to be different. List every critical solutions out of them and think innovatively, and then evaluate and prioritize solution based on criteria like impact and cost. Because you might be also running about three solutions, but how will the solution be going to rank? Think of those. Try to build some metrics out of those, and do follow that. You do not need to follow any standard process, any standard framework. Just go for the simple approach that I need to get what impact does it, what cost does it have, or think of any other critical business criteria and try to prioritize based on how much development effort is going to take, how much implementation effort is going to take. And after having all those cost evaluation, try to find the solution either through a metrics based model or either having a very good mindful thought. But do let the interviewer think how you are thinking upon the same. Next is, once you have developed everything, you have a very clear picture on the mind what you need to develop. Now think, what is going to be my MVP features and how is going to be the metrics measurement going to look like for me. While you are discussing this minimum viable product, do mention that you are going to do a competitor analysis to see how the market is, how we are going to distinguish, what we are going to build in this MVP solution, so that you can start onboarding the customer. What is going to be a key critical aspect of how you would be unique into the market, and why should anyone hire you instead of having them? Be very clear with your MVP, be very clear with your roadmap, and try to think of much possible you can. And then you come to basically how you are going to track the success. Go with the first point, that is why we are building out this product, and try to think of how this product have countered into a numerical based approach. Whatever you have done is a qualitative analysis. Now think of it as the quantitative approach and try to think how you can bring this to the numbers. Let's say you need to present this idea to me, how you are going to show me the number that I have bring a significant impact. You cannot tell the customer story in that case. You should be very much data backed. Once you have done a huge amount of these efforts, summarize your approach, user needs, and recommend solution. Conclude by summarizing your overall strategy, how your solution address users and align with the product goal, and provide a brief rationale for why your solution is effective. You have to be a very specific while giving those interviews. You need to think of how you are going to sell this product. You're not there in the interviews to sell yourself. You are there to make a product which can be sold across to the customers, and that is where is a key critical skill for any CEO of in the company. Now coming to how, let's go to a very quick question, and now solve a very problem where you need to basically design an ATM for, let's say, a blind person maybe. So ask clarify question to narrow down the scope. Confirm constraint like, is there any cost effective region? Is there any target region where I need to target? Is there any age group that I need to target? Is there any language where I need to be focused? So let's say you haven't observed any of those questions and you start moving out to the solution. The interviewer was thinking that I am targeting the USA based region, my company is in US and my language is in English, and you try to build out a solution which is going to be in Chinese or let's say in different language, then that product is of no use. So ask clarify questions as much as you can. There is no bad question, and interviewer likes every of your question. So be very thorough, be sure to ask any question that you go into the while you are designing this product. Second is define the goal. And after having analyzed the whole problem and scenario, define the goal in front of the interviewer, and say like, focus on retaining and engaging visually impaired customer with the key ATM objective. Be very thorough, like how you are being defining the problem statement so that you are both underlined. Now go into the user segment and prioritize. Like here I can see that there can be users who are partially blind and completely blind. Prioritize designing for the completely blind because this is a segment who is going to be most benefited by this product. And then there comes a list and prioritize the pain point. So prioritize the pain point related to using the right ATM card, feeling safe and independent, and ensuring correct cash amounts. This might be some of the pain point which I have observed while I'm having an interaction with you. List out the solutions like I can have unique bump on the card, braille cards, image and voice recognition in ATMs, braille currency notes. And now comes about the priority of the solution. What is going to be the cost? What is impact? Selecting cost effective options with high customer experience impact. And now you have the final solution. Track successful transaction using your success metric, usage in the special design ATM, and new customer adoption. And then summarize the whole problem that I am going to use like improve engagement for visually impaired users, focus on solution like voice guided transaction and bail cards. This is a very high level overview. I just want to cover this in under the 4 minutes or 5 minutes. But if you want to have a discussion with me, you can ping me on LinkedIn and I will surely have a discussion with you and we can have mock-up interviews as well. But try to think of as much solution as you can, put down yourself into the customer shoes and do follow the standard process so that you can end into the final solution. Now while you are going through this, there can be a very key critical question in your mind that how I'm going to do this user segmentation, how I'm going to find the user segment. So user segmentation is a critical step after designing the business goal in the product development. Once you know the product, once you know how and where I need to go upon, what is my overall goal, it is very key important skill that you know the user segmentation. You can segment users based on the meaningful attribute to identify specific problem and need. So key principle is distinct attributes should be the same, and which area has some unsolved problem, you should think of those areas. And now you have some segmentation method which might be useful in your next interviews. That is product usage based, frequency based in like segmentation. Divide users based on how often they use the product. Purpose of use. What is the primary goal of the user using the product? Professional and lifestyle. Segment user based on their professional or lifestyles. Type of product used. Group used by the type of the version of the product they use. Geographical location. Which location is going to be useful? And now think of user segmentation like I would be using some of the example like Gmail users, power users, casual users, occasional users, LinkedIn users, job seekers, recruiters, salespeople, Grammarly users, student, working professional, businesses, Google Map, business, professionals, locals, vacationers, WhatsApp users, student, working professional, elderly people. I have given enough examples using the above principle of how you can do the perfect segmentation. And now comes how to get to the user pain point. This might be a very critical question that might come to your mind and is going to be the most key critical component while you are giving the interviews. So think of the user journey improvement. Try to think of, if let's say a person comes today, how which journey does he follow? He comes to the main screen, he goes into this particular button, he goes into that, he goes into that, and try to think and visualize the entire user journey. Visualize how users interact with the product to spot the pain points in their journey, and consider the challenges they may face during each step and how to enhance their improve experience. Second is missing product features. Use reverse think to identify need by comparing with competitor offerings. Go onto the competitor website, think why they have developed this feature, what you are actually missing out for, and what is actually the pain point they are looking to solve. Think about features or solutions that competitors have but are missing in the current product. Do a market research preparation. Research popular app in relevant industries to understand user segment and key features. Create a document noting user segment and key offering to quickly generate pain point during the interviews. And then go for the common pain point. Consider universal pain points such as lack of clarity, missing critical information, bad user experience, and inefficient processes. Address issues like incomplete user journeys, lack of automation, and language barriers. That might help you out with some of the pain points. By following these methods, I am damn sure that you would be surely able to get some of the major pain points and get the effective solutions out of them. So now we are done with the official interviews. There are some of the major mistakes which I have observed during my interviews as well, and I have seen other candidates as well, that they skip clarification question. If you are not asking question during the interview, there might be cases that the interview and you are thinking in a much different approach, and what the interviewer actually want to evaluate out of you, he might be missing out of that. Ignoring specific user groups while you are defining the product, maybe while I am discussing the solution with the you, let's say being as an interviewer, you might be missing the user segment which I want you to go in. So think effectively. Not taking time to organize the thoughts. As soon as you land into the problem, you start to thinking of the solution. The interviewer will surely reject you at that current point because you are very unorganized and you are little messy. Take a moment to jot down each pain point and solution on a paper before discussing them. This shows thoughtfulness and helps avoiding jumping to conclusion. Try to have a pen and paper along with you. This is going to be a very critical aspect when you take those interviews. Neglecting to prioritize pain point. Evaluate and prioritize pain point based on the importance. You can't solve everything, so focus on addressing the most critical and important issues first. And then also, like, while you are interviewing, while you are little tense, you don't have like very tense, don't stick to the obvious ideas. Try to be as innovative and creative as you can, because the regular solution can be taught by any person, but an ideal product manager will be coming out of the box solution, and that's make a unique product manager. And proposing too many ideas, so don't go that you propose 20 or 25 of those ideas. No one will remember them. Try to think of the three solutions, but three of one of the best for them, and try to think and prioritize which is going to be your case. And this is are the common mistake that have been made in large number of interviews, and these have led people not getting into their dream companies. So now, once you have been through this session completely, here is basically some of the problems which you can solve as a sample cases, and you might be seeing some similar challenges in your interviews as well. So let's say in your society there are a lot of people who hate dog poops. They are pooping random somewhere, and you want a mechanism to detect those poops and make this solution easy. This is your problem statement. Design a new location sharing app for Google. Currently, you go on WhatsApp and share your location. Try to think how Google can design similar app. Bookshelf for children. Like children cannot have access to books at a very higher screen. Try to think of how you can design the solution. Is there a user who is not well served by Amazon? How you are going to solve for them? Facebook expanding into the movie section. Vending machine for the blind people. Netflix for senior citizen people. And product to improve teenage health. Try to think these solutions are not having any problems right now. These are not solved much. Try to think each solution out of the blue. You would not be having any standard solution. Try to be creative as much as you can. And you can have discussion with your peers, discuss with them, think where you lagged, and do the whole problem design. I would surely love to know if you can share me with me on LinkedIn on DM. I would love to go through them and help you out any way as I can. So next session, we are going to have more questions around product design, and we are also going to land into the area where we are going to discuss about how does a roadmap designing work. So see you in the next session, and I hope that you are liking, subscribing, and having a view over the page. Do let me know on my LinkedIn LinkedIn ID, where I can know your feedback so that I can improve in my videos. I'm open to the feedback, and I would love to know if any of these videos are very helpful for you. Thank you so much for your watching, and thanks for providing with your valuable time.